side, we will be showing you how to download the Secure Table Pay app on your Clover device and configure it, reconfigured or configured for the first time for an integration with the Aloha POS. So when you're on your Clover device, you're simply going to want to click on More Tools. And up at the top here, you can type in, to search the app market, you can type in STP. And you'll notice STP will pop up here. You can just touch that. So this is your app here by Secure Table Pay. If we just go down, we can click on Connect. And it says it's free there. We're going to hit Connect again. At the bottom, we have the option of the downloads. We're going to hit Download. And it's going to start downloading here. You can see up in the top left-hand corner, there's a little picture of an arrow. If we actually swipe that down, you can see here that it shows that it's downloading Secure Table Pay. If we just touch on that, it'll show us the status here. So we can just watch and wait for this to download. So if for any reason your Clover device gets factory reset, or maybe you're getting a replacement Clover device and you need to reconfigure it again, you'll have to make sure you go on to the More Tools there and come in here and re-download the software, the actual app. So you can see here now it's installing, and it says installed. So if we just click on our home button down here at the bottom, and you can see here the first screen we had was full. So if we just swipe over to the left, you can see that there's our Secure Table app icon now. So we can just touch that. Then from here, if it does prompt you for an activation code, the activation code that you can put in is POS, so all lowercase. That's P as in Papa, O as in Oscar, S as in Sierra, and then you're going to put the month and the date. So if it was, you're going to put the day and the month. So if it was February 2nd, or let's use February 3rd, you would put POS, and then you put 03 and 02, and then that will get you in. So it's POS, then the day, then the month. So once you're into here, it's got to come up with an enter button and your configuration button up here on the right. And you're going to want to hit the configuration button. The default password is going to be 1234. So we can just hit 1, 2, 3, 4, hit OK. And that's going to take us into here. So when you first get into here, obviously your STPI address is going to be blank. So depending on if you were using an STPI IP address or you're using STPI URL address, you would type in the appropriate thing. So if you have another pin pad there that is already configured, I advise what's best is to just go into the STPI settings on that pin pad and compare the settings to what's in that, your working one or your extra one, and just kind of put the same settings into here. If you're unsure of what to put in for the STPI IP address and you don't have another pin pad to reference, you can reach out to your point of sale provider, and they can hopefully assist you with giving you the right IP address to put in that field. So if you do need to type something in, you can just click anywhere in the box here. You'll see that when you touch in here, you'll have like kind of a little icon there. You can click and drag this icon. So if I can click it and I can drag it to kind of move where I want to type, so you can do that as well. We're just going to clear it all out, so like it would be blank. So we're just going to type in the address, so 10 decimal 100 decimal 101 decimal 100, and this will change depending on how you have it set up at your site. And then hit your arrow here. If you're using a URL address instead, in order to be able to put something in this URL address, you have to hit this toggle up here switch it from IP. If you touch that, it will switch the URL, and then it will allow you to type something into here. But for this instance, we're going to keep it on our STPI address. Down here, your port number. Can't do anything with that on this screen. We are, however, going to hit Advanced Settings. and this is going to take us to our second screen. The STPI port number always needs to be 9999. POS type should be 1. Tip, you want to have that toggled on. Your tip presets, you can go ahead and put your tip presets in here. So these are the tip presets that will show up when a customer's prompted to leave a tip. They'll also have an other button that they can hit to either leave their own percentage or their own dollar amount. So I advise just setting these up to what you want to do at your location. To change them, you can just simply, sometimes it's a little messy to get in, but you just kind of double click on them, and then you can just manually type in, you know, what you want to put, and okay. And this is per device, so these things always have to be set up on each individual device. It's not a global setting, so you have to program it the same on each device. Settings password, you can go ahead and put that in there if you want. That will just prevent people from coming into this. Just make sure you are documenting that somewhere. So if you are getting assistance from somebody else, like your point of sale provider, make sure they're in the know of that password. So if they're talking somebody through getting in here, they're going to have the ability to get in. Or you can just leave it as 1, 2, 3, 4. A couple options here. You have enable search by table number and enable search by check number. You can put these on if you want. If you have enable search by table, what will happen is the server will type in their Aloha number, and then the app will prompt them to enter in a table number. Once they enter in the table number, it will then pull up the check on the screen. If it has multiple checks on the table, it will give a list of checks and they can pick one. If you turn that off and you turn on enable by check number, maybe you can't. Oh, you can either do, if you have enabled by table number, you have to turn on enable by check number. If you turn both of these off, what happens is when you log in to the software with your Aloha employee number, it will then prompt and be able to show you on screen kind of a graphical image of each table. And then you can just pick which table you want to bring up. So that's if you have both of those turned off. Depending on your preference, you can even leave the search by table on or search by table off. The pass to terminal to server and customer, you want to keep these toggled on. What that's going to do is it's going to just basically come up with a little picture on the screen when it will tell you to pass the PIN pad to the client. And as well, when the client is holding it and it goes through the payment, it will come up with another picture and tell the customer to pass the PIN pad back to the server or the bartender. Prompt timer, that's just how long that those actual, that the pass the terminal to server and pass the terminal customer will show up on the screen. So you can set that for how long you want to do that. If we go into more settings, you're going to want to make sure you turn on merchant receipt. That's to ensure that the PIN pad will print a copy for your server or bartender to keep as well. If you don't have that turned on, it will only print one receipt for the customer. So you're going to want to make sure you have merchant receipt turned on. The rest of the options you can keep blank or just default. I guess tip on tax, I have that set to it looks like default is on. Auto start, off. Exit password required, you can leave off. And then you can just go head down here and hit save. That's going to save those settings for you. And then we can hit save again. And then from here, you should get to a screen where you're able to log into your server number. So if you hit enter, it's going to prompt you for your server number. So this is where they would go ahead and enter in the server ID that they use for their point of sale system. And then it's going to ask you for your table number, so they can type in the table number. And the system will then talk to the point of sale and pull your table. And if it does that, then your PIN pad's set up and working correctly. Yeah, hopefully this video was informative. Thank you for tuning in.